Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, calm, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, feel a sense of release in any of those tiny muscles around your eyelids. And as you exhale, just feel a heaviness there on those eyelids, enabling you to feel no desire to open them. And when you breathe in, just imagine breathing in deeper than the previous breath. And as you exhale, imagine breathing out at half the speed, but for twice as long. That long, slow, outward breath feels like it's a vehicle for tension to leave your body. Feel how good it feels to just let go. That's it. Imagine breathing in a feeling of optimism. That as you breathe in, you just feel more optimistic. And as you exhale, imagine breathing out doubt and limitations. That long, slow, outward breath, just enabling those limitations to leave your body. That's it. And notice the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the easier it becomes to effortlessly breathe even deeper than before. Because there is a forceful breath. You force the inhale, you force the exhale. But then there's the effortless breath. Breathing in comes from the diaphragm and just happens by itself. And that long, slow outward breath doesn't require force. It's the release of tension that allows the outward breath. And the deeper you breathe, the more your body relaxes. And the more your body relaxes, the more your imagination awakens. I want you to imagine seeing a children's book, a picture book. And maybe you can imagine this book close to where other books are kept. And this book is simply called The Scottish Highlands. Imagine picking up that book and flicking through the pages, looking at different mountain ranges, different regions, different lochs, until you see a page with a vivid image of a particular loch, not so well known, but it resonates with you. And maybe this image of the loch is on a day with fluffy clouds and blue skies, of still water, and the vibrancy of the different colours and textures in the rugged landscape around. And fixate on a point in the image close to the loch, near the edge of the loch. Just focus on that point. As you breathe in that optimism, exhale any doubts. And as you focus on that point, just imagine teleporting into the image and imagine how it would feel standing on the edge of that lock. The freshness of the air, the temperature around you, the stillness of the water that almost looks like a mirror, reflecting back the clouds and the landscape, the mountains, the sky. So still. And it feels eerie because the stillness of the water seems to echo the stillness of the sound. There is an absence of sound. No animals. No sound of wind or a breeze. Just stillness. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine that in this moment, time has stood still. The water is frozen in time. The clouds are frozen in time. And the only person that can move is you. But because everything is frozen in time, nothing can move but you, including the water. So feel a wonderful sensation of walking on top of the water, like the entire lock is a huge sheet of thick glass, more than able to support your weight. Imagine walking out, perhaps into the middle of the lock, feeling safe, feeling supported, everything frozen in time but you. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine 3 buckets around you. Each bucket represents a different level of financial resourcefulness. The first bucket represents security and safety. The second bucket represents comfort. And the third bucket represents freedom. And I want you to stare into the first bucket, because you get to define 2 things that would represent security for you. What does your income need to be for you to feel a sense of security for you and your family? And when you know exactly what that figure is, let me know by nodding your head. But not everyone needs an income. You can consider your net worth, your total assets, also to be a form of security. If someone has several million, their income could be 0, and they are still safe and secure. You know what the income level is to feel secure. Now decide what your net worth needs to be, so that even if you weren't working, even if there was 0 income for many months, you would still feel secure. And when you know what that figure is, to feel secure even without any income at all, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to jump into the bucket, just like Alice in Wonderland jumping down the rabbit hole. And as you jump into the bucket, just imagine going into that future. What does life have to be like? Not for you just to earn that income, but you to earn that income that makes you feel secure and you enjoy the process. For some people, working for a living is arduous, unpleasant. It drains from their life. But some people love what they do, and they can earn a good income, and it charges their batteries up. So imagine what it would be like to earn that level of income that represents security and to enjoy it. And when you know what that feels like, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then imagine going to a place within your imagination that would be the natural place that you would check assets. Maybe a screen, a folder, documents. And I want you to see what assets you would need to own in order to feel secure, even without an income. That might be cash savings, investments, properties. But when you know whatever that figure was that represented a net worth of security, and you can see in this bucket of security what that looks like, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then imagine jumping out of the bucket back to your full size, and now staring into the bucket of comfort. As you stare deep into the bucket, just decide what your monthly income needs to be for you and your family to be comfortable. And when you know what that number is, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And just as you did before, just imagine that even if you had no income at all, you could still be comfortable if you had enough assets. And I want you to think about what your net worth would need to be for you to feel comfortable without needing to work at all. No income at all, and yet you're still comfortable. And when you know what that amount is, let me know by nodding your head. So stare into the bucket and again, jump into it. The bucket becomes a portal into an alternative reality where you're already living that future. Get a sense of what it would be like to earn that level of income, still enjoying it, but it's a higher income now. What needs to be done different? Are you charging more? A bigger client base? maybe clients that can afford more of what you're uniquely in a position to offer. How is it scaled? Maybe there's additional revenue streams and income streams that weren't in the future of security but are in this one. And if you can get a sense of what it would be like to imagine living with an income at this level where you feel comfortable, not just safe and secure, not just not worrying about bills, but living a lifestyle that you really enjoy, driving the car you want, going on the holidays you want, traveling to where you want, giving things to the people you love the most, and feeling good because you are a provider. You enrich their lives. When you can imagine that, let me know by nodding your head. And then give some thought. Go to that place that you would check on your assets and figure out what's the value of your portfolio, your investment fund, your cash savings, total value of properties, maybe other things as well. And just imagine maybe seeing something like the equivalent of a total column when you add up all of that, like a spreadsheet or an email from an accountant just saying that your net worth is, and see that number, the number that represents comfort for you. Maybe it's in the millions, but look at a specific number that represents comfort for your net worth. Even if your income stopped for a year, you would still be comfortable. And when you know what that is and where it's coming from, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then jump back out of the bucket. And now stare deeply while you're on that glass lock in full stillness. Look into the bucket of freedom. And let's define freedom as you get to live a level of comfort and beyond without needing to work at all. That your passive income that comes from assets, income that comes from things that you don't need to work yourself, flows in. And if you know what it would be to feel free, where income is flowing in, giving you that great quality of life, but giving you the choice what to do with your time, who to spend your time with, who to spend your money on. When that is clear in your mind, let me know by nodding your head. And then think of what your net worth would be, that if you had no passive income at all, what would your net worth need to be for you to live a life of absolute freedom without ever worrying about money? It would be a higher figure, maybe in the several millions. But think of a specific number, that if that was your net worth, you would always feel free. And when you know that number, let me know by nodding your head. As you stare into the bucket, leap in to that portal that takes you to that future. But this time, imagine a future where all work is a choice, an option, There's nothing you need to do, just things you're choosing to do. If you wanted to stop working for 6 weeks to get out on a yacht, you could. The bills would still be paid. The businesses that you run would still satisfy their clients. The future of freedom is an owner, not an operator. You can choose to operate, but don't need to. Imagine that life. Get a sense of where the income streams are flowing from. Different assets, different businesses. Look at how much automation, delegation, and outsourcing takes place in this future. People report to you. You make decisions. You decide on strategy. But you don't need to be doing the work unless you choose to. And when you get a sense of what that's like, let me know by nodding your head. And then think of what your net worth would need to be for you to feel free, not just for you, but for your children's future too. What is your level of net worth in order to create generational wealth? That when your descendants think of an ancestor that changed everything, you are that person, the facilitator of generational wealth. What assets did you need to acquire? What systems did you need to build? And I want you to feel that this isn't wishful thinking or a possibility. I want you to feel that this is a destiny for the taking. This is yours simply by taking it. And if you could imagine that level of wealth, multi-generational freedom, let me know by nodding your head. Someone once said, if the mind can clearly conceive it and believe it, then they can achieve it. You've conceived it. Now give yourself permission to believe it with every fiber of your being and have an expectation that you will achieve it. You will achieve the freedom that comes from income not dependent on you, which then creates more resources to acquire more assets, that they themselves compound in value to creating even more value. Most people never do because they never try. But since you believe it, you open up a pathway of resourcefulness to create a powerful, self-fulfilling prophecy. And if you feel this has unlocked the very resources required to manifest this future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And now jump back out from the bucket in reverse. Get a sense The lock and the landscape are still the same, but you've now changed. Feel a lightness and optimism in you as you walk back over the surface of the lock, back to the shore. And just imagine in a moment, time restarts. You can hear perhaps a bird, see a slight ripple on the surface of the waters, but feel like something powerful has changed within you. You've expanded your belief and the scale of your ambition, and allow that to feed all of the resources required in order to achieve it. But it's now time to take those feelings and return to the present. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Start to connect and calibrate with the here and now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.